Hello everybody and welcome back, and the party have made it to the ruined city of Xitaqa, though in reality it's just like a village. Though I would expect there may be more off the map here. And they're faced with a cliff wall and two entrances that lead into the city, and one entrance becomes a fork. So will they choose this one, or this one? I'll do the usual 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6. And it's a decision between here or here. That was Liz who said go this way. She can be the decider. She just says, well, I'll go with this way. Right, so the first thing they see is a small house here with a door. Now, are they going to bother to open this door? Remember, everything looks deserted and it's extremely quiet. They are on the lookout for Stephen, and they can see in the centre of the place this massive, I think it's 5 stories, pinnacle tower. And that's most likely where he will be. So, well, we'll listen at the door. And Liz doesn't hear anything. I'll say there's a 50% chance that they will open it. So 50 or less, and Donard decides to open the door. And that's a 54. That's close. His hand is on the door handle, but he decides, nah, I won't bother. And it's a good thing that he didn't, because this house here contains more rock baboons. I don't know if this is apparent from the camera, but each building has a B, an E or a G, and these refer to baboons, empty or goblins. Well, that's what's inside. And that one had a B, so he nearly opened up a house filled with some rock baboons, and well, we didn't do too well with them last time. And indeed, considering what there is to explore here, I might do something I haven't done in some time, which is leave the dungeon. In other words, should the party get into some bad shape, they will go back into the countryside and rest up. This place is rather deserted. In fact, it seems to be completely deserted and deathly quiet. There doesn't seem to be much interaction between the goblins and baboons that live in these houses and between this central headquarters, so I think it's plausible that the party could enter into one of these houses, get into a fight and then leave again, and for that not to cause alarm in the central keep. That's the way I'm going to play it, because there's no way we can take on this entire area, look into houses randomly, and then, well, get to the end and not all die. This is going to be pretty tough. We're out of healing spells and the staff of healing, and we have no healing potions. So yes, these little one-story houses are built into these cliff walls. The party make it round this corner here. Will they try to open this building? They do, and this one is empty. And not only is it empty, but everything inside is dried and desiccated. In fact, there only seems to be stuff made of stone left behind, the stone fireplace. Anything that was wooden has been taken long ago and burnt as firewood. Party closed the door on that building and continue through these silent streets. And up ahead, they hear a noise. So I'm going to roll for surprise. And we get surprise. We come round the corner here and marching around the corner this way, so they have their backs slightly to us. We see a patrol of 6 goblins and 5 rock baboons. This place is so quiet that they will turn and hear us within the next few seconds, so we have to think quickly. Right, Liz is going to try and shoot a goblin. Right, she gets a short range bonus onto that, which makes it 8. Her missile Xitaqa was 14, she hits AC 6, and she does enough to shoot a goblin. So this patrol is minding its own business. If anything, they're bored to death because this place is so deserted. In fact, going on patrol seems to be one of those orders that they're given, but they never understand why. Well, today they've just found out why, because as they turn the corner, they hear a shot, and whizzing through the air is an arrow, and it goes through the back of the head of one of their goblins. And next up they hear a spell being cast, and it's Sylvia casting sleep. And she does 12 hit dice of sleep. So that's the 5 goblins are asleep. That leaves 7 left over, and that's enough to put 3 of the rock baboons to sleep. Right, there are 2 rock baboons left standing, so Donard, who got bitten badly, is going to go in for the kill. And well, he hits, and takes 1 from 6 to 2. Carrick is also going to go in. And he hits, and he does max damage. And yeah, again, he just decapitates another baboon. There's 1 rock baboon left. That was the surprise round. Let's roll for round number 1. And we get initiative. Can Liz shoot it? And indeed she can, and she shoots it right through the eye. Well, it's up to everybody else to dispatch sleeping ones, and that was that little skirmish over with rather quickly. Right, we took them by surprise. That also means, again, we're out of spells. Well, it means we're out of sleep spells, so the party are here, and they can either go into this cul-de-sac, that cul-de-sac, or go straight towards the main tower. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll do it this way. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buildings around them. Will they look into one of them? They look into building number 1. And they open the door. This is a large building and it's empty. And again, it is utterly empty. But this building has a door that leads through the other side. There are a few buildings like this which are actually built not just into the rock but go through it. So yes, they're going to go into this building and out the door this way, and they find themselves here, and there's another cul-de-sac this way. They're going to have to work out what to do next. There are 2 ways to think about this. If they don't clear out these buildings, they may be caught by another patrol that takes them by surprise. That might happen when they try to leave here and they're at their weakest. So I think maybe what they will do is they will systematically investigate all the buildings in this area here. Well, try to kill everything in them. That way at least they know when they take on the main bad guy that they won't get jumped when they try to make their escape. Well, I'll see how on earth they will go about doing that. So the party's thinking is this. They have checked out a couple of these buildings and they've been empty. They checked out this one, nothing was there, and they realised this is the exit. This might be a passage to the central headquarters. So if this is where Stephen is, they want to make sure that when they have to escape, they aren't ambushed by anything. So in order to do that, they want to check all of these houses systematically, just to make sure they have a clear exit from this place. What they're going to do is listen at every door. I think Liz should be the one who listens. She has the best chances. I suppose more than one person can listen, but I think that might become a bit Scooby-Doo, as everybody has their ears pressed to the door. And what happens when they open the door? Do they all poke their heads around one by one? So we'll begin a systematic search. I have pre-rolled the contents of these houses, because if they are marked with a G or a B, as I've said, they can contain something, but that is only odds. There's a chance that they might be empty. So we'll start with this one. Liz doesn't hear anything. They open the door and it's empty. I'll mark that with a dot. This is an alcove, so they're going to go around one by one and clear out this alcove. The next stop is this little door into this little house here. If Liz does hear something, then we can get surprise. And she does hear something. In this house, she hears the voices of goblins and the sort of hooting of a rock baboon, but there doesn't seem to be too many. So we're going to burst in there and we're going to get the first round. Carrick and Donard are going to take the lead. Liz and Sylvia can get a shot in, but they can't get themselves into position in this doorway and get surprise. So it's really only the two boys who can get the surprise. So they burst in and they find 3 goblins and 1 rock baboon. Right. Carrick is going to go for the rock baboon as it's the most dangerous. And look at that. That's the 3rd rock baboon he has decapitated in a row. Though the moniker of Baboon Cleaver does not sit well with him, as, well, they're just innocent animals. Can Donard hit a goblin? The goblins only have 4 HP, so if he does hit, he can't fail to kill, as his minimum is 5. But old habits die hard, so I'll roll the damage dice as well. And yes, that goblin's head went into its shoulders, so there are 2 goblins left. Let's roll for round number 1. We get round number 1. Liz and Sylvia are in the room. They can take a shot, but I'm going to give a -1 Xitaqa penalty. They would get -2, but they do get a short range bonus. Liz. Well, she misses. Sylvia hits and takes a goblin from 4 to 1 HP. Let's see what Donard can do to that goblin. Yep, it's enough to kill it. And Carrick, well, he hits AC 5. They have AC 6, so yes, he does indeed kill it. So that's 3 dead goblins and 1 dead rock baboon. And that's this house cleared out. Let's move to the next 2. Liz doesn't hear anything. They open the door and this one is empty. They try this one. Liz doesn't hear anything. They open the door and this one is empty. And as always, they're very empty. They are quite literally stone dead, cold, disused and rocky. So they go back to the junction and there's another cul-de-sac here. So they will check out these 4 buildings. This one. Liz listens at it and it is another empty building. She listens at this door. She doesn't hear anything. So in the usual formation, everybody opens the door. There are 4 goblins inside this one. There is no rock baboon. So we can roll for surprise, because we don't get automatic surprise. And there is no surprise. So let's roll for initiative. They get initiative. Right, that's 2 goblins on each of the boys. And they are fighting with hand axes. I'll do 2 on Donard. And 1 hits him for 3 points. I'll do 2 on Carrick. And they both miss. Argo. Sylvia. Misses. Liz. With a -1 Xitaqa penalty, she still hits AC 6 and shoots and kills 1 goblin. Donard. Yep, again, just pulverizes these goblin skulls. I hate to see what that looks like. And Carrick. Ah yes, there's 1 goblin left. Let's roll for round number 2. It gets initiative. They have quite a high morale. And its morale holds up. So it's on Carrick. Its morale may have held up, but it is clearly flustered. Right. We'll just do melee. And there's Donard. He seems to take a chunk out of the wall with his hammer. Yes, and Carrick finishes the deed. That's this house cleared out. So we're going to move on to this one. Liz does hear something, and she hears some goblin voices and several sort of humps and, well, what sort of baboon noises do they make? Snorts and hoots. So this one is populated. We can use this to our advantage, and again, the two guys can rush in and get surprise. Donard hits and doesn't quite kill a baboon. It's down to 1 HP. Carrick hits and again does not quite kill a baboon. It is down to 3 HP. There are 2 goblins and 3 baboons in here. Right, let's roll for round number 1. And it's mutual. I will do them. I'll do 2 baboons on Donard. And they each get 2 attacks. And the green dice is bite at 1d3, and the orange dice is the claw attack, or in this case a club with 1d6. And they miss. That's the first baboon. The second one misses badly. There's 1 baboon on Carrick. That misses. And then there are 2 goblins. One on Donard. Misses. And the one on Carrick misses. So we have our go. Liz. Well, she hits even with the Xitaqa penalty and she kills a baboon. Sylvia, well, she gets +1 onto that. That's a miss. Our melee round. Donard hits and kills a baboon. There's 1 of those left on Carrick. And he hits it and does enough to kill it. There are 2 goblins left. Let's roll for round number 2. Those 2 get initiative. What does their morale do? Their morale with the leader still alive is 10, so they need to throw an 11 or 12. So they are going to have a go. 1 on Donard. Hits for 6 points. The 1 on Carrick. Misses. Right. That was their go. Donard does not like being hit. And he smashes that goblin's head in. Carrick. He misses. Liz. She misses. Sylvia. Well, she hits and just hits and kills it. So that is that house cleared. So we're going to go on and check this last house. Liz doesn't hear anything. They open the door and this one is empty. So we have cleared out all of these, apart from this one. What do the party do next? The party are standing here and it's just occurred to them that they've left some devastation in their wake and they could have captured a goblin to at least interrogate them. Knowledge is everything, so they're going to try one last house here. It's getting into the evening and they want to leave here, find somewhere to sleep for the night and come back again. So Liz will listen at this door. She hears the voices of some goblins, so when we rush in, we will get automatic surprise for Donard and Carrick. So we're going to kill all but one of the goblins, and Sylvia has a charm spell. So Donard is going to rush in. And look at that, these goblins are playing a game of dice, and all of a sudden, two of them look up to discover that their comrade's head is hanging off to one side. Carrick, he hits and kills another one. That one gets stabbed in the back of the neck. There's one left. It's round number 1. And it gets initiative. What does its morale do? Its morale holds up, so it is definitely going to have a go at Donard. And it misses, so it's our turn. Spells. Sylvia is going to cast her charm spell, and this goblin has to make a saving throw at 18 or more. And all of a sudden, Sylvia just says to it, "Oh, thank you for saving us from those two nasty creatures there." And the little goblin says, "Yeah, and they cheat a dice, so they deserve it." So we have got a little goblin friend. We ask him if he wants to follow us out of here, and we'll give him some dinner. And of course he rubs his belly and says, "The food here, we don't get enough." We'll go back to this point here, and we can ask him a few questions. First question is, who is the big boss? Who is Skinny Legs? And the goblin just shrugs and says, "Me see him once, he human, and he lives in big tower." We ask, does he give the orders around here? And the little goblin says, no, orders come from Plaque. Who's Plaque? And the goblin says, "Plaque, he Goblin King, he speak to Skinny Legs, and then he gives us orders. He is also meant to give us food, but he keeps most of it for himself. We won't go to collect food until tomorrow." So that kind of tells us we were correct in thinking that the little goblins and the baboons who live in these houses are largely ignored, and it's up to them to go to the leader and get stuff off him. The leader has no interest in going to them. So we ask the goblin, if you were to leave for a day, would anybody notice? And the goblin just shrugs and says, no, they don't care. It is up to us to keep asking for stuff. We ask the little goblin, where does the Goblin King live? And he takes us through this little house here and out the other side, and he points to a slightly larger building here. He says, he in there. We see the open area here, so we're going to leave for the evening and we're going to camp overnight some distance away. We can probably make it to these foothills. We'll use up our fresh rations. We are obliged to feed our little goblin friend. We definitely have enough food. So that was night day, the first day of the month of Yarthmont. And it's a cool, slightly breezy evening. Right. Is there a nighttime encounter? And there isn't, so we will wake up the next day on the 2nd, which is Loshden, and the weather here is moderately cloudy, dry, warm, with a slight breeze. Okay, I'll roll for a morning encounter. And there isn't any, so we can heal up. I think I'll do that. The Staff of Healing is back in action. Carrick, who's up to 20. I'll do Sylvia, who's up to 10. We've got 2 Cure Light Wounds, so I'll do one of those on Carrick and one on Sylvia. The one on Carrick. He's up to 25. The one on Sylvia. She's up to 15. Malin has learned Shield, Sleep, Web, Invisibility, and Haste. We're going to try out Haste as a spell. And Sylvia has Sleep, Charm, Phantasmal Force, and a Knock. And the next time, we'll clear out this little area here, and depending on how well that goes, we might begin our assault on the main fortress. Right, so I will see you then.